Hey, how's it going? How's it going, everybody? Listen, I'm just going to put some music on right now, and then we're going to get started. Um, the reason for this broadcast today is because as of 5:30 a.m. this morning, there was what was called a smiley face in the sky. It was all over the news that during April 24th and April 25th, there was going to be a Venus, Saturn, and Moon conjunction in the sky. But those are actually not the only planets that are being conjunct here. And I'm going to get to that in a minute as soon as I get some music on. When I started doing the tarot reading for this, I'm not going to hold you, right? I did not know what I was looking at. Now, I'm a cartomancer, right? Tarot readings are what I do. I'm a cartomancer. I read cards and I decipher them. That's what I do. And it's when I looked at these cards, it wasn't that I couldn't decipher them. It's just that, sorry. It's just that everything was so tied together. It was just freakish. It was just like, I don't know. I didn't know what I was looking at. It was just like everything was just like very clear in a way that it is not normally clear for me. That's what I meant by I didn't know what I was looking at. Because look at these cards. I'm going to get to them in a minute, but they were just so clear on such a level that I haven't read them before, but it might have something to do with the astrology. Now, let me get some music on. All right. Yeah. Set the mood. Yep. Speakers on. So basically, hopefully that's not too loud. So basically what we're looking at here, because I've written notes on it, right? So I'm just going to read like the conjunctions. I'm not reading any other, not reading any other placements for this conjunction because the conjunctions are what matter. So I haven't written anything else. But from what I've gotten, the smiley face that occurred in the sky this morning, it wasn't just a conjunction with Venus and Saturn. This placement also had a conjunction with Rahu and Uttara Bhadrapada Neptune. Now, the moon and Neptune were in Uttara Bhadrapada, but both of those things were conjunct Purva Bhadrapada, Venus, Saturn, and Rahu. Now, for me, right, the conjunction of all these planets coming together, for me, it has something to do with destiny and love coming together, but not just that. There's also a deeper aspect to this. Now, I'm going to get to this in a minute. So what I've written for the notes for the conjunctions are, there is an increase in love, peace, and harmony, but there's also an increase in sensitivity to our, to our environment. So if it's negative, if it's positive, we're going to feel it more. So yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is that there's heightened intuition, as you could tell by the cards right here. There's heightened intuition. And not only do we get that, we get glimpses of our futures. And there is a real urge for commitment, not necessarily just in love and romance, but in all forms of love and in all forms of abundance. There are long-term plans and long-term goals, and there's such a clarity about them that it's almost as if we're seeing them right in front of us. But this is something that we have to be careful of. Even though there's a lot of realism going on, there's a lot of sensibility going on, even though we're not losing our heads, and we're not completely divorced from the past, it's important to remember that if your life is not stable, if you're not stable, if you don't have a good structure for your life, then you may be subject to like a lot of emotional upheaval. There's delusion in the air for everybody. There's paranoia in the air for everybody. But if you don't have a stable foundation internally, externally, or both, then you might actually be more vulnerable to emotional instability, to delusion, to paranoia, all of these things if you're not careful. So it's important that you maintain a strong inner foundation. But luckily, with this moon conjunct with Saturn and, with all these conjunctions with Saturn, it is looking like any delusions or paranoia might be offset if there are those among us who have like a stable inner foundation or a stable outer foundation. Now, I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to go into the conjunctions without the notes because I'm an astromancer as well. I'm an amateur astromancer, amateur cartomancer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, without notes, try to really grasp the conjunctions. All right. So what I'm seeing with, Venus, Saturn, Rahu and Neptune is that there are real psychic visions into our futures. But we have to divorce expectation from what we're seeing, right? It's like our fantasies become so clear and so visible to us that they can feel like reality to us, but we have to bring it down a notch. We have to remember that when it comes to our visualizations, that the emotions that we feel during those visualizations are more likely to come true than like what those things actually look like, right? So it's important to bear that in mind. But our understanding of what we're looking at, the connection to what we're looking at, to the connection to our visions can be so strong that there's a danger that we might lose our heads over it. And this is especially the case when it comes to love, when it comes to commitment, when it comes to foundation, and when it comes to our futures. All right. Really pay attention to how you feel when you are daydreaming, how you feel when you are dreaming, how you feel about like the visual symbols that spirit shows you. You need to focus on the emotion of these things and not on what those symbols are. Taking everything literally, taking your visions literally is not going to help you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Taking your visions literally will not help you, especially when it comes to love. And love is a huge feature of this reading. I'm not going to hold you. Love is a huge, huge feature of this reading. Okay. So yeah, ordinarily I'd be like, okay, Venus, Saturn and the midheaven together. That is a powerful sign because it's a sign of powerful love, powerful abundance. That is not only future orientated, but it's also foundational. So it's powerful on a level that cannot be stopped. It is destined love and abundance. It is destined commitment. It is destined future, right? All of these things are destined. But with that Neptune there, remember Neptune's job is to represent that nakshatra in a way that is not literal. So that's what Neptune does. So that's the thing that we have to watch out for. There is a magical kind of love that is going to show up over the next 30 days. There is a magical kind of abundance that is going to show up over the next 30 days. There is a magical kind of, drive and ambition that is going to show up over the next 30 days. Our manifestations, if we've been doing manifestation work, that is going to come in all the clearer over the next 30 days. But again, focus on the emotional intent and not the fucking visual representation. Because then when the spirits bless you with all the hard work that you've done and all the foundational stability that you might have, like depending on who you are, when spirit gets ready to bless you with these things, you're not going to know what those blessings look like because you're too focused on what something looks like and not how something feels. You know what I'm going to do? I'm about to watch Only You tonight. That's what I'm going to do. You know that film with Marissa Tomei and Robert Downey Jr.? Yeah, I'm gonna watch that shit because that's a perfect illustration of exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to you've got to trust your heart over what you see, including with your third eye. Because remember, your third eye and your imagination are one. A lot of people think that the third eye is just about divination. No, your third eye is where you have your imagination, where you create imagined scenarios from. You don't just create it from here, you create it from here. All three of your eyes are visual. And I know what people are going to say, oh no, that's not visual. Yes, it is. If you're a blind person, like that third eye, if you were a blind psychic, that third eye would still show you symbols. It would still show you things. It would still show you things like from the third eye. It would still show you visual representations. And I know what people are going to say. If you're blind, how can you know what something looks like? Your mind will show you. There are blind artists out there. Your mind will always show you where to go or what you're looking at. Your mind will always show you. So it's like, when you pay too much attention to the visual and not what's in here or even what's down there, you miss the lesson. You've got to focus on not only your third eye, but your root chakra and your heart. Those are the three cornerstones of spiritual alignment. Your root chakra, your heart, and your third eye. That's the thing that not many people know. But those are the keys to your spiritual alignment. Your third eye, heart, and your root chakra. So it's not enough just to focus on what this thing sees. You have to focus on what this feels and what this feels. If all three are in alignment, that is your sign from the cosmos and your sign from the universe that you're right where you're supposed to be. Okay? Now, I tried to be as clear as I could about these conjunctions, but when it comes to the conjunctions, with me not noting it down, that's what I see, right? Trust your heart, trust your emotions, trust your root chakra. That means trusting your gonads. I'm sorry. I know what you guys are going to say. Like, you can't trust your gonad. Yeah, people trust their gonads alone. That's the problem. People don't trust everything. It's either they trust their third eye or their heart or their libido. They don't connect the three. And that's what leads to delusion. That's what leads to untruth. That's what leads you to believing something that you should not believe. It's the lack of alignment. You've got to be aligned. Okay. Now, yeah. So I've written notes for here. So another thing that we have to consider is that we've got two very powerful end nakshatras here in Pisces. So we've got Purva Bhadrapada, which is double Jupiter energy. That's double desirous energy. That's double fucking, like evolutionary masculine energy. Like that's double that energy in Jupiter, right? And then you've got Uttara Bhadrapada, which is, the aftermath of when desire and action and like just consumes everything that is not needed and that is not necessary. That's the whole purpose of action and desire, is to consume and burn up anything that is unnecessary and not needed. And then when you come to Uttara Bhadrapada, now comes the cleanup, now comes the water. So Purva Bhadrapada is fire with action. You're burning up what you don't need. And then with Uttara Ashada, you're washing it away. And then you're left with the jewel, with the clear essence, with your clear destiny and your clear purpose. You've got Purva Bhadrapada, ritual fire, the fire dragon. You've got Uttara Bhadrapada, the water dragon. Dragons are to do with magic. Dragons are magic. Dragons are not just about like ferocity and power and all the rest of it. They're to do with magic as well. So that's another element to this. There's magic here. In that placement, for the next 30 days, things are going to have a more magical leaning to them. We may find ourselves more leaning towards spirituality. If we're more already leaning towards spirituality, we might find that expanding. This is a really, really powerful time where action and faith combine, where soul and spirit are going to find themselves on the same page. especially if you are already internally stable. And baby, that leads to some next level shit. Okay, next level shit. Speaking of which, I've got to talk about the life path number of this transit. The life path number is 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. Do you understand? Life path number is number 2. Sorry. Crazy. Absolute insanity. Like the amount of synchronicity that this thing is showing right now. And bear in mind, I didn't pick these cards on my own. I shuffled them and that's what came out. So there is an alignment of opposite worlds happening. That's why the life path number is number 2. Number 2 is the number of partnership. It's the number of pleasure as well. Yeah. It's a number of pleasure, like providing it more than receiving it, but it's also the number of pleasure, right? So pleasure unites 2 very different worlds together. It's like I said before with the Bajrapadas. Purva Bajrapada represents hell. Uttara Bajrapada represents heaven. Double Jupiter are the fires of desire that burn and consume everything around it. The fires of action, right? And then you've got Uttara Bajrapada, the nakshatra of faith, kindness and courage. You bring those things together, magic happens. And magic happens to the point where you get to the root of who someone is. You get to the root of their true treasure, their true worth. And you accomplish that through partnership. You accomplish that through the opposition of forces coming together to create something incredible or to reveal something incredible. Life path 2 is about partnerships, but this type of partnership, it's not ordinary. It's not ordinary. You're talking about heaven, you're talking about hell and heaven colluding rather than colliding. Okay? So yes, it is about partnership, but not just any type of partnership. Powerful love, life-changing partnership is what we're talking about here. Life-changing commitment is what we're talking about here. One that is in line with not only our collective destiny, but our individual ones too. And if you really want clarity on this, what I suggest you do is you check out your natal chart. You can look on astro.com. They will tell you how to compile your own natal chart, or, there are lots of resources online to tell you how to create your own natal chart. Check your natal chart and then check whatever house that Uttara Bhadраpada and Purva Bhadраpada is in. That is where your destiny is most likely to come from. That is where magic is most likely to happen in your life. Not even just at this time, but just in general. Because I've experienced it. Check your 9th house and check your Pisces. Check where Pisces is in your chart. And if there are any planets there, be extra aware too. Because that's where also you might create the love that you're looking for. And you might, create the truest essence of what you're trying to manifest. Yeah, because our manifestations are revealed as well. Action burns it all away. Free will burns it all away. And grace and kindness, they wash away the ashes to reveal the jewel underneath. But yeah, so they reveal the jewel that's underneath, yeah. And that jewel is whatever you've manifested, who you truly are inside. But that can't happen without partnership. That can't happen without opposites coming together. Yeah. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. It's a very powerful time, but again, do not expect it in the traditional ways. Remember, your third eye, your heart, and your tings, them, they gotta be aligned. Okay. Now let's get into this foolishness. It's like, what the fuck is going on? I looked at these cards and I'm like, what is happening? Like, again, this is clarity on a level that I've never seen. I get clear readings, but this right here, this might be a short reading because this is very, very clear. This is very clear. Like, this represents the union between Uttara Bhadrapada and Purva Bhadrapada, between the zenith of evolved masculine energy and the zenith of involutionary feminine energy coming together, right? So that's what this is. That's what this represents. Yin and yang coming together. Heaven and hell coming together under one banner to create a love and a passion that is powerful and cannot be stopped. And is also a union between dark and light. You know, again, PB and UB, dark and light, yin and yang. It's all there. And it doesn't just extend to our internal selves either. It goes beyond that. It goes into our relationships as well. Our truest love and our truest relationships, what we may find is that it's not going to be with the people who are most like us on the outside. It's going to be people who are most like us on the inside. I can think of a few people in my life right now that we might be doing different shit on the surface, but like when you look deep within our core beliefs and our core identities, they're very much the same. So I got glimpses of that today. I got glimpses of people in my life in particular who may be on completely opposite sides of the spectrum and do things in completely opposite ways. But when you get to the core, on the same page, the best type of love to find, or like the most transformative type of love to find, is the type of love that is like, it's like a square astrological transit. So it's like square sun squared moons, you know, Venus squared Saturn, but like that's the best type of love to find because it's the most transformative and you get the most out of it. But it's also the type of relationship that requires the most patience, the most commitment, the most tenacity. When people say opposites attract, they're not really talking about opposites. They're talking about two people who have the same objective, but they are going about it in different ways. That's what they're talking about when they say opposites attract. It's not really an opposition. It's not really an opposition. It's just that their views of each other don't match the core aspects that unite them. I'm going to use an example of that. So let's just say, like Vishaka and Ashlesha are squared. They're squared, especially Libra, Vishaka Libra and Ashlesha, I call it there, and Ashlesha are squared each other, right? They both want to accomplish the same thing of achieving feminine power, especially with females of Ashlesha. Like, this is the thing that's not known about Ashlesha. Ashlesha is very much about woman power. It's just that it's about the power of this woman rather than the power of all women. Like, Mars is about the power of all women. Mercury is about the power of this woman. Vishaka is about the power of this woman. But they're also fire and water. So Vishaka is like a matriarchal version of PB. And Ashlesha is like a less sort of united version of Uttara Bhadrapada. We're talking about fire and water same way, because Ashlesha is has water representing it, and Vishaka has fire representing it. So this is a good example. Vishaka does things by being provocative, letting their sexual side loose, letting their desires be known. So Vishaka, as much as they look like angels on the surface, you know, they get what they want by making their more, their wilder and more crazy, more unique sides known, whereas Ashlesha does it in the opposite fashion. They act how the world wants them to, but, you know, beneath the scenes, they're controlling shit, right? So, you know, that's exactly what, like, the best and most transformative relationships are like. That's the type of love that everyone looks for. That's the type of love that we will get. But instead of those squares bickering and finding fault with each other, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a definite unity and purpose in one direction. We're going to find that when it comes to one specific thing, those squared energies are going to be brought together. They're going to be brought together and they're going to commit to each other. Again, don't look for it in the usual ways. Don't look for it in the ways that you think, because that squared love that I'm talking about, it might be family, it might be friends, it might be romance, it might be anything, but it's a squared energy. So don't look for anything stereotypical, because it doesn't happen with spirit. With spirit, that shit does not happen. Do not look for anything stereotypical. Okay? Now, I did write notes for these three here. I did write notes for that. The notes that I got were that there are two things that we need to be aware of. There are going to be systemic loopholes and there are going to be people investigating those loopholes. Right? So, you know, there are people in power that are going to find ways around the law. But there are also going to be people investigating those people in power, like investigating them, finding out what they've been doing, how they've been getting around the law, right? So there's going to be those things happening. And I'm not going to lie, that might spell good news for targeted individuals too. It might spell good news for any victims of corruption. It might spell good news for, you know, victims of unlawful surveillance and unlawful torture and anything like that. So it might spell good news for people who have been on the right side of the law. It might spell good news for them. But I say might because you know how this world works. The people in power, they're very vindictive and very arrogant. And if there's one thing they know how to do, is they know how to give us what we want and make it cost us something. So I'm keeping this, you know, I'm not celebrating it yet. I'm treating it with a wary eye. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. There is going to be, again, because of Neptune's influence, again, if you don't have a stable internal, external foundation, there might be some trouble with being honest, telling the truth or seeing the truth. So I did write that down as well. So yeah. Let's see what other notes I've written down. So when it came to this card right here, I talked about fate, choices, free will, and the material world. That's Purva Bhadrapada. And the material world can either be a help to your freedom or a hindrance to it. So this card represents Purva Bhadrapada, and this card represents Uttara Bhadrapada. The forces of hell are bringing love together, and the forces of heaven are bringing love together, bringing those squares together towards a singular purpose. That is you know, that this square relationship is driving. So I've already said that, but let me just get to the notes here, okay? I said that destiny's calling, but we need to throw out expectations of what that looks like. Destiny's not calling. I was wrong on that. Destiny's not calling. Destiny is already here. It's already here. It started with that smile in the sky. Destiny is not calling. Destiny has shown up, knocked the door, and entered the house. So that's that. Also, the union of opposing forces driven by the cosmos. So not only are these forces here honoring spirit, honoring what's going on, but they're being driven by the cosmos as well. So it's an interchangeable thing. Everything is influencing each other. The love is influencing spirit, and spirit is influencing love. Fate, Purva Bhajapada, is influencing love, binding them together, but love is also influencing fate, right? You've got love influencing the direction in which it goes, but that direction is also influencing love, right? You've got love influencing heaven, but you've got heaven influencing love. This is will. The will is heaven. We experience heaven as having our desires met, or as in feeling like we have our desires met. That's how we experience heaven when we live. This represents us living by our heart's code. When we are in bliss, when we are in heaven, our heart is singing. That's what's happening. When we live in harmony, when we live in, a way that we know we're supposed to live, like our heart starts singing. That's what being in heaven feels like. Being in hell feels like you're a slave to your body. And your third eye, it feels like you're supposed to be, you're pulled in one direction. But all these three worlds, they're coming together. They're coming together within people. And the results of that are going to be very interesting. Because I'm saying this within the context of everything that's going on in the world. And when you look at it, you understand how complex and intricate that destiny actually is. But there's love behind it, and there's love fueling it. That's the dread part. Like, it's being fueled by love. And like I said before, when you think about everything that's going on in the world right now, you're like, how the fuck is love influencing that? But it's a neutral force. It's a neutral force. And what's done with it is dependent on the person and what their relationship with their integrity is like. So love definitely conquers all. But just because love conquers all, it doesn't mean everything is smooth sailing. It might in fact be the opposite. Love is neutral. It is not good. It is not evil. It is neutral. So, how it is used, how this type of powerful, unconquerable love is used is dependent on the individual. And that's what justice is. A lot of people think that justice is like, you do good things and then you go to a good place. Good thing according to who? Good place according to who? What are we talking about here? Where's the good place? Where's the bad place? And who the fuck who decides that shit? Who decides it? And let's just say you do get to the good place. You do get to heaven. You get everything that you want all the time. Where is the gravity? Where is the weight of getting what you want? Where is the weight? Where is the gravity? Where is the satisfaction? If everything happens the way that you want it to, that's why it's important that heaven and hell are united under one purpose. That's why it's important. Because why the hell would I want to get what I want all the time? Where is the challenge in that? Where is the satisfaction in that? Where is the weight of the good things happening? Where is the weight? So again, love is beautiful, but it's also nasty because it depends on how that powerful love manifests and who it manifests within. Love to me feels like being in nature and just watching it. Love to me feels like a very chilled out day where like there's just this sense of peace and bliss in the air and you don't know where it's coming from. Love to me feels like when two people come together and you know there's magic in the air and you can't explain it. That's magic to me. Magic to somebody else might, love to somebody else might look like causing other people pain. So yeah, when love comes into the equation, that's not the end of evil. Because love doesn't choose. Love doesn't choose good or evil. Doesn't choose any of that. It chooses whoever is in alignment with it. And that's the truth. So, yeah, the lightness of your heart. This represents Margashirsha. The lightness of your heart depends on your integrity. And it depends on your alignment with your body. And just like with this, the power of this and the happiness and satisfaction that comes from this is dependent on alignment with, also alignment with your body, but in a different way, like in a long-term sense, and with this, it's about your mind and your spirit, it's about your mind and your spirit, your mind and spirit, body, but also mind and soul. So yeah, it's about alignment. It's not about choosing one or the other. But again, when you don't, when you align this, and this, doesn't necessarily mean that every person is just going to be peaceful. It really depends on you. And partnerships. The partnerships that come through, they're about to bring this out forcefully. So yeah, be aware. So yeah. Is there anything else I need to say? Any closing? Okay, we're going to close with, okay. Guardian angels wanted me to bring it down a notch. Okay, so we got Guardian Angel Tarot for our message, but I need an oracle. Right. Need an oracle card for this one. Okay, cool. So, hold on. I'm actually doing this live on Empress Justice Astrology at the moment. I don't know why I didn't do it on Tarot, but what I am going to do is I am going to put this live on my threads. So it's going to be on my Empress Justice Tarot and Astrology threads. It's also going to be on my YouTube Empress Justice Tarot and Empress Justice Astrology. It's going to be on both. So yeah, hopefully that fixes it. Hopefully that fixes it. Okay, so message for everyone. So make it nice and gentle. Oh. Oh, we got a nice one already. Okay, got 3 of emotion, 2 of thought, and 9 of thought. Is that it? I feel like there's more to this. 9 of oh, not 9 of abundance, girl. Tell me. All right, so 4 cards are enough, apparently. Let's see what else we can get. So, Crystal, do I do this? Okay, let me just go play it by ear. Passion and purpose, okay. Spiritual, yeah. Okay. Oh. All right. So, to close us out, I am using the Guardian Angel Tarot cards for an extra gentle message, because Spirit is telling me to bring it down a notch. And then we've got the Crystal Angels Oracle deck as well. So we're going to end this nice and gentle, because I've been very, very dramatic. And I said to myself, I'm not going to be dramatic, but then I come online and I'm dramatic. Don't get me wrong. Everything that I've said is accurate. You're going to see that over the next 30 days. But I can put more emphasis on the, the dramatic and the complex sometimes. And what this, these decks are like the cosmos saying, you know what, baby, just bring it down a notch and tell people some positive messages to go out on, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So, first of all, we've got 3 of emotion, which is great. So it says, wonderful news is on its way. Announcements regarding engagements, pregnancies, births, or graduations will be revealed. New friends will be made, or communities of like-minded people will draw closer to one another. Exciting new beginnings or happy endings are just around the corner. Love. And then we've got Rubelite, passion and purpose. All right. So your enthusiasm gives you energy and motivation to work on a meaningful project that's dear to your heart. That is how heaven and hell come together, through one meaningful project. But this is not a temporary thing. It is a long-standing thing. Because again, with that Saturn conjunction, it would be. So yes, it's a long-standing thing. All right. Now let's get to the next pair of cards. All right. 2 of thought. Let's go. So your angels have noticed you're not moving forward. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm starting to get something here. Don't worry. It's positive. You have multiple options that you're reviewing and you seem to be unable to choose. Ask your angels for signs as to what direction to take, or just listen to your own inner voice. Deep down, you know what to do. This is very true. And the reason why I said, oh, okay, yeah, is because of this card. It says spiritual or religious community. Join with like-minded people for friendship and increased spiritual growth. You see, like-minded people are good for friendships. They're even good for networking. But soul-wise, soul connections, that's more for romance stuff. That's more for familial stuff. Yeah. But you need to make friends. Some of you need to make friends if you haven't already. And you need to make friends that reflect who you truly are, or who you truly aspire to be. Like, for example, if you put on this act like you're quite rough, but deep down you're actually quite a gentle person, then you need to be, around other gentle people who remind you, yeah, this is who you are. That's what you need, right? So, yeah, so that's what you need. You need to be around people who reflect the real you, not the you that you pretend to be for other people. Okay. So you've got 9 of thought. Stop being so hard on yourself and turn your thoughts towards the positive. There's no need to worry. Anticipating the worst isn't helpful. I feel like Spirit is actually throwing shade at me at the moment. Spirit's being very shady. It's being very shady. Okay. Anticipating the worst isn't helpful. Know that heaven will provide a solution. If you're expecting sleepless nights or anxiety over a challenge in your life, release the problem to your angels. It says, bless your heart. Reach out for emotional and spiritual support to heal and mend your heart. So the like-minded communities that we talked about, they are the ones who are going to be your center, like your emotional center, the place you go to for solace, right? So they're going to be the people that you go to when you have a problem, when you have the square people are not the people that you're going to go to for advice, okay? The opposition people are, right? because, you know, you might not be on the same page at your core, but you're on the same page where it matters. Sometimes you need people who are going to justify your surface level feelings and thoughts to you. Sometimes that's needed. You don't always need to be, you know, really deep. And I know what I said about being the real you, but I'm not talking about the real you as in what's in here. I'm talking about the real you as in the most favorable, you know, the most, how do I put this? It's the like presented side of you that is the most accurate to your soul. It like the persona that you put in the world, that's the most accurate to you. It's the you that is, you know, that's who you are when you're happy. Those are the type of people you need to be around. Okay. Now with the 9 of abundance, well, let's just see what we've got here. See what we've got here. Life is wonderful. Your hard work and dedication to your dreams will provide you with great peace and contentment. Take time to enjoy quiet moments of reflection and leisure. Feel free to buy yourself small, luxurious gifts. You've earned the financial security and independence you now enjoy. That's not just about love. That's not just about abundance. Again, that's also about love. It's about what you've manifested as well. With Tiger's Eye, you've got self-confidence through God confidence. Believe in yourself by believing in God working through you. Yeah. Remember your connection to spirit. You guys are not going to forget. You're not going to forget your connection to spirit. You won't forget. But, you know, when things are good, when things are looking nice, and you know, you got everything that you manifested in a good way, pay homage to spirit in some way. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't forget who put you on game. It was spirit who did that. So whatever religion you belong to, whatever denomination, give thanks, because that egregore is responsible for your blessings, for the blessings that you have in life. Pay respect to that egregore, you know? So yeah, that was for my beautiful, beautiful everyone. I'm used to doing star signs, so that was for everybody. And now I'm going to end with a smile. I'm going to end with a smile for, you know, my smiley face reading. So I have been Empress Justice, peace and blessings, and I will see you tomorrow for the new moon in Barony. Okay, I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Bye bye, my darlings.